Chapter 16. Read aloud. Lois Lowry's Number the Stars. I will tell you just a little. Chapter 16. Poor Blossom, Uncle Henrik said, laughing after dinner that evening. Was it bad enough that your mother was going to milk her after all these years of city life? But Anne-Marie, to do it for that very first time, I'm surprised Blossom didn't kick you. Mama laughed too. She sat in a comfortable chair that Uncle Henrik had moved from the living room and placed in the corner of the kitchen. Her leg, in a clean white cast to the knee, was on a footstool. Anne-Marie didn't mind their laughing. It had been funny. When she had arrived back at the farmhouse, she had run along the road to avoid the soldiers who might still be in the woods. Now, carrying nothing, she was in no more danger. Mama and Christy were gone. There was a note hastily written from Mama that the doctor was taking her in his car to the local hospital and that they would be back soon. But the noise from Blossom, forgotten and unmilked and uncomfortable in the barn, had sent Anne-Marie warily out with the milking bucket. She had done her best, trying to ignore Blossom's irritated snorts and tossing head. Remember how Uncle Henrik, using his hands, had worked with firm, rhythmic pulling motion, and she had milked. I could have done it, Christy announced. You only have to pull, and it squirts out. I could do it easily. Anne-Marie rolled her eyes. Well, I'd love to see you try, she thought. Is Ellen coming back? Christy asked, forgetting the cow for a moment. She said she'd make a dress for my doll. Anne-Marie and I will help you make a dress, Mama told her. Ellen had to go with her parents. Wasn't that a nice surprise that the Rosens came last night to get her? She grumbled. She should have woken me up to say goodbye. Anne-Marie, Uncle Henrik said, getting up from the table and pushing back his chair, if you come with me now to the barn, I'll give you a milking lesson, but wash your hands first. Me too, said Christy. Not you two, Mama said. Not this time. I need your help here. Since I can't walk very well, you'll have to act like my nurse. Christy hesitated, deciding whether to argue. Then she said, I'm not going to be a nurse when I grow up. Not a cow milker either. So I guess I'll stay here with you, Mama. Followed as usual by the kitten, Anne-Marie walked with Uncle Henrik to the barn through a fine misty rain that began to fall. It seemed to her that Blossom shook her head happily when she saw Henrik and knew that she'd be in good hands again. She sat on the stacked hay and watched while he milked, but her mind wasn't really on milking. Uncle Henrik, where are the Rosens and the others? I thought you were taking them to Sweden on your boat, but they weren't there. They were there, he told her. You shouldn't know this. You remember that I told you it's safer sometimes not to know? But, he went on, I will tell you just a little because you were so very brave. Brave? No, I wasn't. I was very afraid. But you risked your life. But I didn't even think about that. I was only thinking of... He interrupted her, smiling. That's all that brave means. Not thinking about dangers, just thinking about what you must do. Of course you were frightened. I was too today. But you kept your mind on what you had to do. So did I. Now let me tell you about the Rosens. Many of the fishermen have built secret hidden places on their boats, and I have too, down underneath. I have to only lift a few boards in the right place, and there's room to hide a few people. Peter and the others in the resistance who work with him bring them to me, and then the other fishermen get them too. There are people who hide them and help them along the way to the Lily. Anne-Marie was startled. Peter is in the resistance? Of course, I should have known. He brings Mama and Papa that secret paper, De Vrij Danske, and he always seems to be on the move. I should have figured this out all by myself. He's a very, very brave young man, Uncle Henrik said. They all are. Anne-Marie frowned, remembering the empty boat that morning. Were the Rosens and the others there underneath when I brought the basket? Uncle Henrik nodded. I heard nothing, Anne-Marie said. Of course not. They had to be absolutely quiet for many hours. The baby was drugged so that it wouldn't wake up and cry. Could they hear me when I talked to you? Yes. Your friend Ellen told me later that they heard you, and they heard the soldiers who came to search the boat. Anne-Marie's eyes widened. Soldiers came? I thought they went the other way after they stopped me. Oh, there's lots of soldiers. In Galilee and all along the coast. They're searching all the boats now. They know that the Jews are escaping, but they're not sure exactly how, and they rarely find them. The hiding places are carefully concealed, and often we pile dead fish on the decks as well. They hate getting their shiny boots dirty. He turned his head towards me and grinned. Anne-Marie remembered the shiny boots on the path. Uncle Henrik, she said, I'm sure you are right that I shouldn't know everything, but please, would you tell me about that handkerchief? I knew it was important, the packet, and that's why I ran through the woods to take it to you, but I thought maybe it was a map. How could a handkerchief be a map, be that important? He sat the pail down and began to wash the cow's udders with some damp cloths. Very few people know about this, Anne-Marie. he said with a serious look, but the soldiers are so angry about the escaping Jews and the fact that they can't find them that they have just started using trained dogs. They had dogs, the ones who stopped me on the path. Uncle Henrik nodded. The dogs are trained to sniff a boat and find where people are hidden. It happened just yesterday on 2 boats, those damn dogs. They go straight through the dead fish to the human smell. We were all very worried. We thought it meant the end of our escape to Sweden by boat trick. It was Peter who took the problem to scientists and doctors. Some very fine minds have worked night and day finding a solution. And they've created a special drug. I don't know what it is, but it was on that handkerchief. It attracts the dogs, but when they sniff it, it ruins their sense of smell. Just imagine that. Anne-Marie remembered how the dogs had lunged at the handkerchief and smelled it, and then turned away. Now, thanks to Peter, we will each have a handkerchief, each boat captain. When the soldiers board our boat, we will simply pull the handkerchief out of our pockets. The Germans will probably think we have colds. The dogs will sniff a boat and sniff the handkerchiefs we're holding. They'll smell nothing. Did they bring dogs to your boat this morning? Yes, not 20 minutes after you had gone. I was about to pull away from the dock when the soldiers appeared and ordered me to halt. They came aboard, searched, and found nothing. By then, of course, I had the handkerchief. But if I hadn't, his voice trailed off. If she had not found the packet where Mr. Rosen had dropped it, if she had not run through the woods, if the soldiers had not taken the basket, if she had not reached the boat in time, that's a lot of ifs. They are safe in Sweden now, she asked. You're sure? Uncle Henrik stood and patted the cow's head. I saw them on shore. There were people waiting to take them into shelter. I suspect they are quite safe. But what if the Nazis invade Sweden? Will the Rodens have to run again? That won't happen. For reasons of their own, the Nazis want Sweden to remain free. It's all very complicated. Anne-Marie's thoughts turned to her friends hiding under the deck of the Ingborg. It must have been awful for them, so many hours in there. Was it dark in that hiding place? Yes, dark and cold, and Mr. Rosen got seasick, even though we were not on the water very long. It's a short distance, as you know, but they are courageous people, and none of that mattered when they stepped ashore. The air was fresh and cool in Sweden. The wind was blowing. The baby was beginning to wake up, so I said goodbye to them. I wonder if I will ever see Ellen again, Anne-Marie said sadly. Oh, you will, little one. You saved her life after all. Someday you'll find her again. Someday the war will end. All wars do. Now then, he added, that was quite the milking lesson, wasn't it? Uncle Henrik, Anne-Marie shrieked and then began to laugh. The god of thunder? That kitten? Well, he seems to have knocked over the milk pail. All right, 1 chapter to go, so tune in for the last one.